It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I am getting ready to leave the anchorage. I know that now I have an engine that doesn't leak when I use it for the first time in about 3 years, but I have sort of fallen in love with sailing on and off the anchor, so there's not a ton of wind, which makes it slightly easier. I'm going to raise my main up the anchor and see if I can sail out of the bay without starting the engine, just as a fun little challenge. I really want to keep doing as much sailing and as little motoring as possible. I also have a personal challenge to myself for the year of 2022 to see how little diesel I can use. I'm about 10 minutes out. Really nice breeze is filling in. It's funny, there's this funny wind pattern close to shore in this anchorage here, so it's always hard to tell what the wind is doing out here. Alright, I'm on my course now. I got a little away from shore before I turned onto the rum line just because it runs parallel to Moorea and I just like to stay away from the reef. I'm going to prevent my main right now. For those of you who don't know, if you're going downwind, it's important to tie off the end of your main so that if you hit a wave, or especially on a wind vane where it doesn't really steer you in a straight line, if the sail backs, you don't have a jibe where the boom swings all the way over to the other side of the boat because that really hurts your gear. It's also dangerous for your head if you like to keep it attached to your body. So the way I do my preventer is that I tie a line off onto the end of the boom and then I run it up through this block that I've put on my handy little track here. From the block, it runs back down to the winch and eventually to the cleat, and that means that I can adjust it from the cockpit. My friends gave me some tuna, so I'm gonna just lightly sear this and then add salt, pepper, and chipotle to the outside while it's still hot so it kind of sticks into. There we go, nice and pink in the middle, nice and seared on the outside. Now I'm just gonna season it. The wind's pretty light. It was forecast to be 15 knots. It's definitely not 15. I'm also right on the edge of having to put out the whisker pole. I'm not going downwind enough to put it out. If I put it out, my sail won't be full, so I'll have to alter course to go more downwind, but without putting it out, sometimes the jib luffs up, so it's this really tricky point of sail. So I've decided to head a little bit upwind of my course so I don't have to put out the whisker pole because I never sleep well when it's out. It's really beautiful though. There hasn't been a lot of wind this weekend, so the seas are down. About 10 o'clock at night and I was just going to sleep in the cockpit. I've been dodging squalls all night, but finally I had a clear sky. I brought my pillows and blankets out. I was all snuggly down and the wind just started kicking up right as I was starting to fall asleep. So now the wind is down again. It's kind of a shitty night, but anyway, I can't sleep in the cockpit with my soft, cozy pillows and blankets because there's so many squalls on the horizon and I don't know what they're going to be doing. So I'm doing my, oh gosh, I need to get to the sails. I'm doing what I do when it's squally outside. So for a sleeping bag, I'm using my sail cover for my head sail, and then for a pillow I'm using this floaty cushion, and I'm sleeping in my harness and rain jacket with everything closed, sleeping in the little cockpit well. Alright, I need to go adjust my course. It's 4 in the morning. I had a close run-in with what I believe was a fishing boat that didn't have AIS on. In the process, I did what I always do when there's an unmarked boat that I can't get a hold of that's coming my way at night. I turned on all my lights, all my nav lights, and in the process I realized that my stern motoring light actually perfectly lights up the wind vane, which is really awesome for when I'm tacking or adjusting the wind vane at night. I can actually see what's going on, and it kind of lights up the cockpit so I can see the sheets and stuff too. So it's kind of a revolutionary breakthrough 3 years into the game. This morning I'm just waking up in the cockpit. Well, I've been waking up every 20 to 40 minutes all night long, but it's finally daylight. And I'm going dead downwind. Last night the wind shifted a lot, so I did change course, but I didn't feel like putting out the whisker pole, so I just took down the head sail and decided to deal with it in the morning. Last night the stars were so beautiful, and I was just lying on my back in the cockpit watching the constellations arcing across the sky. And when I'm at sea, I just let my mind wander and these thoughts pop in and out of my brain, and I get what I call passage thoughts. And I just wanted to share a recreation of the experience with you guys. Do you only ever see the same clouds once? If you get really tan and then lose a bunch of weight, does the tan condense on your skin so you actually get more tan? 99% of all life on Earth is extinct. All we ever think about are the animals, but what about the fruit that went extinct? What did prehistoric fruit taste like? If the average wind speed on Earth happened to be 50 knots instead of, say, 15 to 20, would we still sail? What would our boats look like? I've always thought having glow-in-the-dark skin would be cool, but would it actually be cool, or would it be annoying? Okay, I'm coming in towards the pass. There's a monstrous swell running, which is making for pretty good surfing, if that's what you're into. I'm also going straight into the wind, so I want to leave my mainsail up, but I don't know if I can. But I don't like relying on just my engine. I'm also worried that there's going to be a lot of outgoing current and that I'm not going to make it in, but we'll see what happens. Alright, I think I'm through the worst of it. I had to tack up this insanely narrow surf-laden channel because I wasn't really making it in with just the end. But I didn't see less than 2 knots, more than a couple times, so that's good. I'm just heading towards the relatively flat. The swell coming in here is huge, so I can't anchor by the pass or it'll be a miserable night. Well, I've made it in. This is kind of an insane anchorage. There's easily about 2 knots of current ripping through the anchorage. I'm a little close to the green channel marker, closer than I'd like to be. Also slightly on the channel side of it. But there's no way I can re-anchor because as soon as my anchor's up, I'm gonna get slammed into the channel marker by the current. So I'm kind of stuck here until either the current dies off, which is whenever this right. I'm getting my paperwork ready to go to Fiji, and they still have all this crazy paperwork left over from when they were one of the only countries open during the height of COVID, and there's all this insane stuff that you have to fill out. The form is about 16 pages long. So this is the first page. It asks you all the regular stuff. Whose boat it is, your registration number, number of people on board 1.00. It's cool. I guess there's not any half people on the boat. Normal stuff like that, like when was your last port of call. And here's where it gets fun. It asks about all the colors. The mast, the hull above the waterline, the hull below the waterline, the Dodger sail covers, deck house, deck superstructure, decks and sails. It wants all of those colors. And then engine. So it's a little bit of a nightmare. And I just hope that I get all this paperwork sussed and hear back from them soon. When I was in Maine, my dad helped me sew lee cloths for my boat. In preparation for my upcoming passage west, I've decided that today's the day to put these things in and... Okay, so the lee cloths get screwed into the wood using these little washers for fabric, screwed in along the bottom, and then this, of course, these clips are for the lines that will attach to these, and one of these is going to be here somewhere, and there will be one on this side. So when we sewed these, we made these patches with reinforced webbing, and this is what I'm going to be putting the screws through to. Okay, time for this little guy. One side is done. I just need to cut the line and then this will be good. Ooh. This went pretty fast. I would say each side only took about 20 minutes once I had all my gear set up, and putting them on and seeing the cabin with the lee cloths made it all totally worth it. It looks great. So here's the finished product. Ooh, sun in my face. They're feeling a little bit high right now while I'm in them, but I think once the boat is heeled over, if I'm on the high side, I can roll right into this, and it's actually pretty perfect. I've just changed my itinerary. I was originally going to go straight from here to Fiji, but I've decided to add a stop in the Cook Islands. So I've been emailing back and forth with the authorities of the Cook Islands. They gave me this hugely long form to fill out, quite similar to the Fiji one. I have not heard back from them that I have my approval, but they've been emailing me back and forth about the form, so I expect to get that approval at some point today, I hope, because I'm planning on leaving tomorrow. I still have to do some provisioning to the gendarme here and get my exit form. So yesterday I went there and I filled out all the exit paperwork, and they called me this morning and said that they have my exit form ready to pick up, so I'll pick that up today. Hey, I'm wearing my finest attire, and I'm about to head out to go to the gendarme to get my exit clearance papers. Okay, just cleared out of the country. I have until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to leave officially, and that's it. Here's my paper. I'm done. French Polynesia. Goodbye. I just left Huahine. I'm still a little bit in the wind shadow, so it's pretty light wind, but I'm still going about 3 knots, which is cool. I'm heading towards Maupiti, which is about 80 miles to the west, straight line, 70-something miles, but that would mean you'd have to fly your boat over the mountains of Raiatea. So I have to go up over Raiatea, over Bora Bora, and then down to Maupiti. It's one of the westernmost islands in French Polynesia, in the Society Islands, and it's my last stop before I jump over to the Cook. So this departure from Huahine has been it's been an emotional day for me. Not like crying tears of buckets of tears emotions, but just thinking about this whole era being over. You know, I've spent pretty much the entire COVID pandemic in French Polynesia. Never planned on being here for more than 3 months, but it's been almost 2 beautiful years. It's sad to be leaving, but also really exciting to be seeing new things. I have a fun group of friends in Maupiti, and we're all gonna leave for the cooks together en masse. They're on large boats, twice as big as mine, so obviously they'll get there first. It's a nearly full moon, which is really nice. So that those are 2 very tricky words. So that I can see the squalls, hopefully, if they come. And yes, sort of sad and happy feelings right now. Sad about leaving, happy about what's ahead, but it's really beautiful. I have a lot to look forward to. Something I always do at sea when the sun is setting is take one last look around while I have decent light to figure out what the squalls are doing and try to predict what they will do once the sun disappears. And what's happening is that these squalls upwind of me are piling up on the mountains of Raiatea and Ta'a, and kind of, since they're stacking up, they're building, and then I know they're gonna shoot off, and I'm just not sure where or when or how, because the land makes cloud things very unpredictable. It's morning, I'm approaching Maupiti. There's a huge squall upwind of me. Head sail is down. I'm just hoping that it's not too much wind for the main. Ooh, it's starting to rain. We're in jacket time. Yeah. Just arrived in Maupiti. It's really beautiful here, kind of like a combo of the Tuamodus and the Societies. I'm anchored about 1.5 miles from the dinghy dock in town, so I'm gonna put the sail rig on my dinghy tomorrow and sail her in. Okay, I'm off. This is a hilarious way to get ashore, but a lot more efficient than rowing, at least in this direction. Super beautiful day. I'm really excited to see what happens next. At the very least, I've had a good adventure. I made it home just in time for this nasty squall to rip through. I'm getting ready to leave Maupiti. This is my last place with internet and civilization in French Polynesia. My next stop is Maupia'a, which is a very small atoll. It's one of the westernmost places in French Polynesia that you can access with your boat. Most people don't go there, and the reason is because the pass is really narrow and sketchy. Apparently there's always outgoing current. I don't actually know if I can get in with my engine. If it's more than 3 knots of current, I don't think I can, because it's dead into the wind with this wind direction, so I can't use my sails to help me. It's really narrow. The pass is only about 60 feet wide, so they say don't enter unless you think you can get in, which obviously is not the case for me. I'm assuming that there's a large chance that I won't be able to get in. Alright, coming to the pass, there's a little bit of funk in the water. You can see it's currenty. It's pretty narrow, a little shallow, but way better than when I was coming in before. Goodbye, Maupiti! I'll miss you! Thanks for watching this, my last full video in French Polynesia, maybe ever in my life. Thank you guys for all of your lovely comments. I love reading through them whenever I get to internet and have the opportunity. Thank you to my patrons. I'm committed to making these videos ad-free, so my only income for the past 3 years has been through Patreon and through your generous PayPal donations, and I just really appreciate you guys helping to support me and make it possible for me to have these adventures so I can continue to share them with you. I have merchandise if you'd like to join the Wintippi Sailing T-Shirts Club. In the link in the description below this video, you'll find all the important links. Thank you, Tish, for helping me schedule these videos and get them up onto YouTube on time. And I will see you guys next week. Patrons, I'll see you with a snack, and YouTubers, I'll see you in 2 weeks with another full-length episode.